Sixers fans, welcome back. I would like to say, first and foremost, that I think the Philadelphia 76ers and Daryl Morey and Elton Brand are doing a good job right now with the whole Ben Simmons thing. I like that they aren't panicking. They aren't rushing for a trade. They're staying grounded. Hold your ground, Daryl Morey. Don't just trade Ben Simmons because the Philly fans are insane right now for the worst thing imaginable. I think somewhere out there's still really good return for Ben Simmons. I think Daryl Morey knows that. I don't think he's just going to push him out because Ben Simmons has come out and said, trade me, trade me, trade me. I believe in Daryl Morey. I believe in this process. I am not going to doubt this man at all. Do your thing, Daryl. Stay grounded, bro. Stay grounded. That being said, I want to talk about the worst trades that I could come up with in return for Ben Simmons that I would do without, crying. I mean, there are some trades that I've seen that I just kind of teared up a little bit. I'm not even going to include them because I want to keep this at some point happy. Let's get into Sacramento. I think the Kings, first of all, are the best fit for Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons in Sacramento playing the 4 next to De'Aaron Fox, if they hold on to De'Aaron Fox in a deal like that, would be really, 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 really good. Really good. I mean, yeah, that would be extravagant. Those two dudes running the fast break would be insane. The playmaking on that team would be insane. The shooting would probably not be very good, but what are you going to do? The defense has some ridiculous potential in Sacktown. I think that could be an arguable play-in team there, and I think it's a deal and a home for Ben Simmons that would work out a lot for both parties. The worst trade that I thought of here is a Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, Harrison Barnes for Ben Simmons, and maybe a pick involved, hopefully a first rounder. But look, a couple of months ago, I'm going to probably be saying this a lot in this video, but a couple of months ago, this would be laughable. This would just hurt my feelings to think that this would be a deal that the Sixers would consider, let alone make. But it's not a couple of months ago anymore. Ben Simmons' trade value is at somehow even lower than it was at the end of the playoffs. That being said, I think a return of Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley, Harrison Barnes, and first rounder is pretty good. I say that because the pros of it, it's going to give the Sixers pretty elite depth. There are 3 guys who can all shoot the ball at a pretty high level and score the ball at a pretty high level and are athletic at a pretty high level and just know how to get a bucket. I think it just adds more guys to the Sixers who can just be offensively good. And that's exactly what we missed in the past, playoffs, because Ben Simmons is just, you guys know what Ben Simmons was. And I also really like the potential for Marvin Bagley. I like Marvin Bagley's game a lot. I hate that he plays under Luke Walton, who I think is the worst coach in the NBA ever since Brett Brown left. I think Marvin Bagley could be a really good basketball player as long as he stays healthy and stays on the court. Now, the cons to this deal, first of all, that's putting a lot of pressure on Tyrese Maxey. I love Tyrese Maxey, but is he ready to be a starting point guard on an NBA championship contending team? Probably not, probably not. And that's not a knock to him. There are not many guys in the league who are ready to be that, but I just don't think Maxey's there yet, and that would be asking a lot of a 20, 21-year-old kid to do, step in and just be a championship contending point guard. That's a lot. I also wouldn't know exactly what to do with Bagley. I would imagine they would start Bagley at the 4 and Tobias Harris at the 3, but then I don't love that. I don't love the fit because I don't love Tobias Harris at the 3. He is a very weird, versatile 4 player that can't successfully play small forward for teams. Which would lead me to believe that maybe there would be a deal somewhere there. Bagley's also going to be up for an extension soon, so that would be a lot. That would be a difficult trade to make on the Sixers' end, but I think there is pretty decent upside with making that trade. Which leads me to the San Antonio Spurs. The trade that I have for them would be DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, and 2 first-round picks. Or DeJounte Murray, Lonnie Walker, Keldon Johnson, and a pick. I would probably like the second one more. I like Keldon Johnson's game a lot. I think he's a pretty good bucket getter, and he just does a lot of hustle work. He's a really good rebounder for his size. The pros to this trade, look, I like DeJounte Murray's game a lot. I think DeJounte Murray plays D at an extremely high level. 2 years ago, he was an All-NBA defender. He's also a big body. He's a tall kid. He gets in the passing lanes. He is a very high-level defender. And it's not going to be a humongous... It will be a drop-off, but it won't be a humongous drop-off from Ben Simmons to DeJounte Murray on the defensive end. DeJounte Murray can still be that primary ball handler to go out and shut down that opposing guard. I like what DeJounte Murray could bring to the team. He also is not the best of shooters, but at least he shoots the ball. He shoots the ball at a low 30% clip, and I think there's room to grow for him. I think he's a dog, and I think he is going to improve year after year. So I would like DeJounte Murray in Philadelphia if that has to come to the case. I also like Lonnie Walker. I think Lonnie Walker has a pretty high-ish upside. I don't think he's going to be an all-star, but I think he's a pretty high-level role player. And it sucks, man, that we have to look at high-end role players for Ben Simmons, but that's where we're at now. I like Lonnie Walker. I think he's a freak athlete. He's a Philadelphia kid. He can shoot the ball. He is a really good offensive player. I like him a lot. He also has pretty good defensive potential, consistency on the defensive end. He's pretty decent already. I think he could be a pretty borderline elite defender in his prime. And if Keldon Johnson comes along, that's just an added bonus. Cons, it really isn't a great return. I mean, it's not a great return for a guy like Ben Simmons. It's not, because, first of all, none of these guys are ever going to be as good as Ben Simmons is now. And that's tough. That's tough. There is no star value here. There's really no potential star value at all either. I like DeJounte Murray, but I don't think he'll ever be a star. Same goes to Lonnie Walker and Keldon Johnson. Ben Simmons is arguably a star. I don't know if I would call him that, or if anybody in the city of Philadelphia would, but I think there are people out there who can make the debate. So, goes to Indiana. Indiana is interesting. There are two deals. One, Malcolm Brogdon and Karis LeVert, and a pick swap. I don't know. Number two, Malcolm Brogdon, TJ Warren, and a pick swap. These are high-level players. I think this is an okay return. It's a better return than the previous trades, I believe. Maybe not the Kings. Malcolm Brogdon and either Karis LeVert or TJ Warren, they both bring shot creation. All three of them can score off the dribble, off the catch, off a cut. They are shot creators. And what killed the Sixers so much in the playoffs was that we didn't have a guy who could go out and get a bucket. Tobias Harris can do that, and I think it would be a weird fit with TJ Warren and Tobias Harris, honestly. I think they're really, really similar players to an extent. I think when their play style is similar and their body size is similar, it would be weird. But I think a pro to this is just that they're high-level players. Malcolm Brogdon, you know what you're going to get with him. He's a very consistent, a good playmaker, a good, decent scorer who hits 90-something% from the line. You're not going to have to worry about that, guys, who can shoot the three ball at a pretty high clip. TJ Warren literally dropped 50 on the Sixers. You guys know that kid, when healthy, can bring impressive offensive outputs. And Karis LeVert, literally the same thing goes to him. I think LeVert's a really good offensive player. I think he's a dog. The only thing is, defensively, this would definitely hurt defensively. It's a con. I don't know if I said that. I feel like the last sentence I said was weird. Anyway, this is also kind of pathetic that this is where I'm at, talking about a Ben Simmons trade. I just wish we made a move last year instead, because the value would have been much better. But you know what? Potato, hindsight 2020, whatever it's called. It's the past. We can't affect it now. We're at where we're at. Let's make the most of what we can do. A con here is that these guys are already at their ceilings. I don't think Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, or TJ Warren are going to get any better. And, that's okay, because I think they're pretty good players as is, but that kind of sucks, because I don't think any of them are going to be all-stars in their career, and to get two role players for an all-star Defensive Player of the Year guy, that's not great, but, Leads me to Minnesota. Minnesota, I have a D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jaden McDaniels trade for Ben Simmons, and probably something else to match salary. Pros, this is a really solid return. I think this is great shot creation that we're getting back. And also, Jaden McDaniels is a 20-year-old kid who can absolutely play defense. And that's something we need from a backup forward, because I think Matisse can shut down 1-2s and 3s, and Jaden McDaniels can come off the bench and play really good defense, and he's a good player. Jaden McDaniels had a good year with Minnesota. I believe in that kid a lot. I think he has a high upside. D'Angelo Russell, I love D'Lo. I don't know why. He's inefficient. He's not a great, consistent shooter, but we'll enjoy some 32-point outputs by D'Lo. He brings really good pick-and-roll offense. And I think him and Embiid together would be a pretty damn good pick and roll. I like the way D'Lo plays the game on offense. He is one of the worst defenders in the entire NBA over the last couple of years. I'm very aware of that. This is not like a trade that I'm like jumping on to do. None of these are. Also, please remember that. But I think since we're at the bottom of rock bottom, this is a decent trade, and I love Malik Beasley too. I love D'Lo and Malik Beasley. Both of them can absolutely scorch it on any given night. Malik Beasley is a really, really good, consistent three-point shooter, a guy who can go out and get you 25. I like Beasley's game a ton, but he also doesn't play a lot of defense. The pros are, that's what it is. The cons, on the other end, I want Anthony Edwards if we're trading Simmons to Minnesota. I want Anthony Edwards. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. I want AE on the Sixers. Ant-Man is the man. I think Ant-Man's going to be a legit star in this league. And this kind of hurts to trade Simmons to a team that isn't bringing back the main guy, the main focal point that the Sixers should bring back. This also brings back literally zero perimeter defense. I mean, literally zero. I mean, one of the worst perimeter defenders would just be like, yeah, let's trade you a generational defensive guy for some dudes that are just not going to show up on that end of the court, which would be difficult to see on some nights. I mean, our defense could go from second best last year, and you're going to see it drop. I mean, there's only so much Matisse Thybulle and Joel Embiid and Danny Green can do. We're still going to be a good defense, but we're not going to be just scary elite like we were last year. But what did it bring us last year? So I'm all for this. And the last one, not least, but Toronto. Toronto, man, I sat there and I was like, what the hell would I take? Because I think no matter what, it would be too much. I like Goran Dragic, and I would like to see like a Dragic, Fred VanVleet package around those two. I would love to see Fred VanVleet involved. Obviously, I like Scotty Barnes, but they're not going to trade him, and he also doesn't shoot the ball either, so it really doesn't bring much. And it came down to just the sole one-for-one deal of Pascal Siakam. I think Pascal Siakam and 2 first-round picks would be the deal. Pros is he's the best player, I think, out of everyone that I named tonight that would be a Sixer. He is the best guy out of all these guys. Pascal Siakam was once an all-star. He's a championship player. He's good. I mean, he is really good. Last year, he really improved on his playmaking. But the thing is, he hasn't shown to be that guy in Toronto since Kawhi Leonard left. And that's a really big knock. That's a really big knock on a guy like that. And for $33 million a year, I'm not sure how much Pascal is really worth it, though he is a better playmaker last year, and I think he could even have even more room for improvement on that. And if he can be more consistent from shooting, I think Pascal could again be an all-star, and I think there would be a chance that Siakam could be the better guy in this deal. And for that reason, I would do that deal if that's where this comes and that's where it takes us. Also, the cons, though, is my real big issue with this deal. Siakam and Tobias Harris cannot coexist. I genuinely do not believe they can both play on the court at the same time. I think maybe Siakam is one of the better guys who could play the 4 and let Toby also be a 3, and it could work. But again, I've said this time after time, Tobias Harris just does not play small forward. He is not a small forward. He excels in efficiency and volume and just nightly production when he's playing the 4. And with Siakam out there, it's like two peas in a pod, and it's just an awkward fit. I wouldn't love it. I really don't love the fit, which leads me to believe that maybe there would be some midseason trade with Tobias Harris, and I don't love that because I really like Toby. I really like Toby. I think Toby's a great player. I think he does so much for the city on and off the court, and I think he's a great fit. So this is my video for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the family, join the community. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers, which means almost at merch. there are some hilarious tweets I've been putting out and I've been seeing on Twitter since, the world's been ending with this whole hurricane thing and the Sixers with Ben Simmons. So there are some pretty cool shirt ideas I got going here for merch. So let me know what you guys think of the trades. Peace.